So it looks like KSI versus Tommy Fury will be on Misfits 009 on October 14th. Rumored to be in Tommy Fury's hometown as we see him take on the second YouTube boxer of his career after beating Jake Paul earlier this year. And KSI is going into his toughest challenge yet to date, Tommy Fury, and in this video I'm going to be explaining why KSI cannot lose. So KSI has been in boxing for around 5 years now since he started in YouTube boxing. He has a seemingly unbreakable mentality, he has a huge desire to win and a great heart. He will go in there and look to beat anyone put in front of him, no matter who it is. And if he's able to get the job done against Tommy Fury, who is a prospect pro boxer, that will make a statement to all kinds of audiences. It'll put him on notice in the boxing world, obviously all over the internet. It would definitely be a huge upset and a big viral moment, which would undoubtedly put him as #1 in YouTube boxing, where he could honestly retire right there, having proved once again that he is the best. Or he could still get mega fights such as Jake Paul being the A side, getting a lot of money and on an even bigger stage, with a rivalry that pretty much the whole world has been waiting for. KSI has been an underdog in the majority of his biggest matchups to date, such as the ones with Joe Weller and Logan Paul, where he was either outsized or counted out going in, and that would be the same if not even more so in a fight against Tommy Fury. Tommy pretty much has all the advantages on paper. He's bigger, he's heavier, he's taller, and he's much more experienced in the ring, also being more youthful, maybe being able to pick things up quicker than KSI would be at 30 years old. Tommy is a pro, he's not just some social media guy, he's been boxing since he was 6 years old, he's an undefeated prospect in boxing and half-brother of the heavyweight world champion, and he's already proven he can hang under the bright lights on the big stages and shut down the likes of Jake Paul, where he took Jake's undefeated record and is looking to do the same against KSI. Well yes, KSI is arrogant, he has a very loud and huge persona, with a big cocky aura that he can definitely take on any challenge that's put in front of him, and while this fight with Tommy Fury is no different, it's not like he needs to take this fight. KSI's goal to come back to boxing was always to beat Jake Paul and solidify his legacy as the best influencer boxer, so fighting a pro in Tommy Fury isn't really part of that journey. The whole reason KSI even wanted to fight Tommy Fury in the first place is to one-up Jake Paul, do what he couldn't, and beat the pro boxer. It's not like him and Tommy Fury have a huge rivalry that's personal between them and they really want to go at each other. KSI's heard all the comments that he's fighting easy fights, he doesn't want to take any challenges on, and he's proving them all wrong right now. Taking a challenge against the best pro boxer that we've seen fight an influencer, unless you're counting Floyd Mayweather. We're not counting him for the sake of this argument. Even if KSI lost to Tommy Fury, he could still go on that path and become the best influencer boxer. Because what is Tommy Fury? He's a pro boxer, he's not an influencer boxer. So even if he loses to Tommy, I mean, he was meant to lose from the beginning. And KSI can use that loss to only just become better from there. He can use that as motivation to still conquer his ultimate goal, which was to beat Jake Paul. And I feel like that's what he would want to do. I feel like if he lost, his ego wouldn't just let him just retire right there. He would still want to prove himself and prove that he is the best in the scene, doing something else. And maybe that wouldn't have to be against Tommy Fury, but being against Jake Paul instead. Honestly, for KSI, it's a win-win for him regardless. He gets to take on a big challenge in Tommy Fury. He gets his experience up in the ring. He has the opportunity to take the undefeated record of Tommy Fury and prove that he is on the highest level in this scene while making a huge event and on a huge stage. Even promoting his company, as the card will probably be on Misfits Boxing. Sure, KSI has things to lose as well, but not nearly as much as Tommy Fury. If Tommy Fury lost to KSI, he would be the laughingstock of boxing. He would have just lost to the YouTuber, probably being disowned by his family at that point. And Tommy Fury is signing that contract knowing that he's the favorite, he's the one going in there and meant to win the fight. So while there's going to be pressure on Tommy Fury, he's already shown in that Jake Paul fight that he's able to deal with that. There was a lot of pressure going into that one. There was a lot of build-up, a lot of mind games, and I assume there will be the same in the fight against KSI. KSI likes to get in the head of his opponents, likes to talk trash, and they've already started that back and forth between KSI and Tommy Fury. But as I mentioned, it's not a personal beef, it's not a personal grudge, and it isn't KSI's ultimate goal. KSI has practically put himself in a winning position no matter how the fight goes. If we're being honest, he doesn't need to box at all. He has a lot of other businesses, a lot of other companies, a lot of other things going on. I mean, he literally showed that when he didn't box for 3 years and only became a bigger star from there, making music, topping all sorts of charts in the UK and touring around the world. So he's really come here for his pride because he wants to conquer the challenge, he wants to take on the biggest challenges. And that's a different kind of motivation when you want to do something instead of having to. A lot of people enter boxing because that's all they have. That's what they need to make their ends meet. And while KSI's motivation is completely different, that doesn't mean that he's not hungry to prove himself. He really doesn't have much, if anything, to lose against Tommy Fury. This can only build his brand, build his star. Even with a loss, he can do bigger and better things from there. Get fights against Jake Paul, get other mega fights in boxing. And if he wins, obviously, it's the biggest win of his career. It's the toughest challenge he ever faced. He would definitely get a lot of credit for that win. His promotion would skyrocket, which is what he also came back into boxing to do, to build Misfits Boxing. I assume this card between KSI and Tommy Fury is going to be KSI's card. It's on Misfits. It's probably going to have tons of Misfits fighters all over the card in a stacked card, where they're going to be able to get their name out there on the biggest stage of the year and the biggest YouTube boxing event of the year, KSI versus Tommy Fury. Even on that card, it looks like Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis will be on that, so it'll also get audience from the mainstream and the MMA community, and it will just definitely be a huge stage for everyone to show out and show up. KSI is taking a fight against Tommy Fury, where regardless of win or loss on paper, he's already won. Just getting this fight before Jake Paul could rematch Tommy Fury, for example, was definitely a great move from KSI's side. He knew he needed that fight, and he couldn't just let Jake Paul steal that, which was what Jake was really trying to do. He wanted that Tommy Fury rematch. He even pushed it from February to October so he could have an earlier chance to do it. And these negotiations between KSI and Tommy Fury were an ongoing battle. The weight situation, stipulations, a lot of things had to go through for this fight to get made, and obviously Jake Paul was in the way of that. He wanted that Tommy Fury fight instead of KSI, because I think Jake knows a little bit deep down, if KSI is able to beat Tommy Fury while I lost to him, that would hurt his reputation and boost KSI's to where KSI would undoubtedly be the A side. Everything would have to be on his terms if they were to ever fight. But it looks like KSI versus Tommy Fury is still going to be the one that goes through. Even on a technical side, this is definitely a winnable fight for KSI. KSI's improved his technique, he's changed his technique, he has a new technique, a completely new style that's really unorthodox. It's not traditional at all, and Tommy Fury is a traditional boxer. He's grown up fighting traditional boxers, sparring against traditional boxers in the gym, and KSI is a completely different style. He kind of fights with a point karate style where he's bouncing on his toes, exploding and darting in and out of range, which is definitely a tricky one to face, and Tommy Fury is going to have to figure that out. I feel like a lot of high-level pro boxers will have the tools to be able to nullify KSI's new style, because it really wouldn't work against the elite of the elites, but the level he's been fighting, it has been working. And it's not like Tommy Fury is some world champion caliber fighter that's just going to knock KSI out in 2 rounds. And while it is possible, I feel like if KSI lost, it would probably be from the distance, and just getting outboxed by the better boxer in Tommy Fury, which would that really lower KSI's stock all that much? Tommy Fury is meant to win, he's meant to outbox him, he's meant to outpoint him, which is what a lot of people probably think will happen in that fight. But it's not like KSI is just going to let anything happen that easily. KSI is going to be game, and he's athletic, he's fast, he's explosive. Regardless of his style on any given night, if he lands that one punch, it could be danger for Tommy Fury. And he could potentially even get put onto the canvas. I mean, he did in that Jake Paul fight, and he ate a lot of right hands. But it's not like Tommy Fury was really rocked against Jake Paul or badly hurt. He took a good jab and went off balance from it, which did count as a knockdown. But KSI himself has shown that he has big time power. He was able to drop the much bigger guy in Logan Paul with an overhand right, which wasn't called a knockdown by the referee, but it was a clean shot. He landed right on the temple of Logan, and at a much heavier weight, he was able to drop the much bigger man, even bigger than Tommy Fury. And since then, he came back to boxing and he took on some more fights, 2 fights in one night, and knocking out Face Temper. And a little bit of a controversial one against Joe Fournier where he knocked him out with an elbow. That one got overturned, but regardless, a lot of people say that KSI has freakish power, guys that have been in there with him, and people that see him work and train in the gym. He definitely is very disciplined, works really hard, and it will be an interesting stylistic matchup that I still do think favors Tommy Fury. But KSI is hungry to prove himself. It's a great matchup for him, and KSI is undoubtedly going to be looking to make a statement in this fight and prove why he's the best YouTube boxer. If you guys want to see more, check out some of the videos you see on screen breaking down KSI's new style and KSI versus Tommy Fury. Let me know your thoughts on this video in the comments down below, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.